Hi, my name is Dan. I was a surgical trainee in the NHS before I left and went into investment banking as the chief of staff of a private equity fund. I've got a little bit of experience on both sides, the frontline NHS and the corporate finance world as well. So I'm hopefully going to use some of that experience to reflect upon some of the reasons why myself and a lot of people have been looking for careers outside of medicine. I trained for years expecting medicine to be my lifelong career, but I left. And I know I'm not alone. More and more so doctors are making the same decision to find careers outside of medicine and also find things that can complement their careers in medicine. And we've come up with this term of portfolio careers. So I'll share a little bit of my story and similarly reflect upon why so many others are stepping away from medicine too. I guess if we go back to what my original motivations were, the reason I went into medicine is the same reason that a lot of people do. I wanted to help people, I was interested in science. I thought it was a stable and meaningful career where I could contribute to people's lives in a very constructive way. Likewise, I enjoyed surgical training. I liked the teamwork, the technical challenge, and the manual dexterity that comes with it. I liked direct patient impact and the kind of input-output that you get from surgery. But naturally, with time, working with the NHS, I became quite apathetic. It was a very strained system. The classic things of long hours, rota gaps, no notice on these rota gaps, constantly feeling like you were firefighting without being able to actually get on top of anything, no sort of balance outside of your work whatsoever. It was all getting to the point where it was quite unsustainable. And the big turning point for me personally was that I was feeling like patient care and the patient care I was giving was compromised by a very, very broken system. I was getting very frustrated with a disconnect between the management priorities and my priorities as a clinician, and how their priorities weren't always in the patient's best interest, but more about the system flow. And that's kind of what led me and motivated me to go into investment finance in the first place. My plan was to leave, learn some management experience, finance experience, and get some business experience, come back to the NHS and see if I could drive some meaningful change. I realized very quickly, though, that change is very political within the NHS. It comes from the top, and there's this big culture of yes men and women. The progression of these people really relies on them aligning with that political stance, and you don't want to rock the boat. And it was quite a big disillusionment for me. I was a little bit defeated by that kind of concept of wanting to be able to make some sort of change, but the system is stopping you from doing so, stopping you from creating efficiencies and doing things better for patients and for our colleagues all around us as well. And I know I'm not unique in this. A lot of doctors have felt the same things and struggle with the same kind of issues. The issues of rising burnout, pay erosion, increasing workload with fewer resources. The NHS just seems to be in constant crisis, and we're constantly being barraged by cuts rather than investment into useful, tangible things that increase throughput and patient quality of care. And there's that feeling of being trapped after years of training, be it exams and audits and research and different courses that you go to. And then even with all that, when you're trying to push yourself through, more than ever, competition ratios have made it so bad to actually be able to even get a job in the first place. Previously, where specialties like GP were massively undersubscribed, and to the point where they're even giving you money as an incentive to do GP training. Now you've got 15,000 applicants for 4,000 jobs. It's a 4-to-1 competition ratio. So the possibility of actually even getting a job is getting harder and harder. That kind of guarantee of actually being able to get to a job is gone. And even at the other end, there's no guarantee of a consultant post. You can do a decade of training and sacrifice in the job, get to CCT, and about a third of consultants don't take a substantive post within the first year of them practicing. It's a paradox. We keep getting told that waiting lists are getting longer, patients are getting more complex, but there's this bottleneck where, fine, we've got a bunch of doctors graduating medical school, but they have nowhere to go. You've got willing people wanting to go into training posts, and there aren't training posts available to them, let alone a consultant post at the other end. And it makes no sense whatsoever. We're being told on one hand that we need to clear these backlogs, where the solution is there, but it's not being implemented. And similarly, doctors feel undervalued in that, be it financially, and the pay doesn't match the responsibility or the level of training that you have, or that emotional side of being valued as well, feeling like we're all very disposable cogs in a very broken system. Medicine, there's no two ways about it. We understand takes a bit of sacrifice in your life. But when the end goal itself looks more and more uncertain, or less rewarding, or less sustainable, people start questioning if it's actually for them. So similarly, these are the same kind of frustrations that led me to look elsewhere outside of healthcare. Curiosity about business and finance, how big decisions are made in the world, spurred me on to find out a little bit more and fulfill a little bit of a qualification in the CFA I did. And I wanted to appreciate how things were done at a big organizational level and effectively how things work in the world. And that led me to transitioning into private equity and investment banking. And it was a big jump. It was a totally alien environment for me. There was a whole new lingo and language that I had to learn, reframing some of my skills and experience to be applicable in those kind of worlds. But that's what I realized in that moment, that skills from medicine translated very well into different environments. The classic things of working under pressure, being good at problem solving, decision making with limited information, and then communicating with diverse groups, and that ability to connect and empathize with them as well. These same skills are valuable not just within operating theatres and clinics, but actually in boardrooms and in the corporate world as well. Working in the NHS is very tough, but there is obviously a big reward, especially when it comes to the satisfaction of helping people. You can make a huge impact on people's lives and to communities in general, but it takes a lot from you. Previous generations sacrificed everything. They slogged even longer hours than we did, but they were rewarded for it, be it financially, with financial stability, with respect and with recognition. You could pay off multiple mortgages on previous salaries with the cost of living proportionally to the income that was coming. Today, that reward is fading. We need to prioritize ourselves and find more sustainable, fulfilling careers aligned with our values, and a little bit of trying to work out what actually motivates us too. So my message to you is that if you're feeling a little bit stuck, you're not alone, and you do have transferable skills, and there are definitely options outside of the NHS and outside of traditional healthcare. And hopefully with these videos we can explore some of these career options and some practical steps to transitioning into a wider career outside of just the norms of medicine. We'll talk a little bit about the hidden costs of staying to medicine in the next video, hopefully. And if there are any things that you think about that you want me to discuss, or we have an open discussion here, then please do comment below. And if you find this useful, then maybe subscribe and you can be notified about the next video as soon as it comes. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Thanks.